In today's video, we're talking about the pound as it pressures a critical resistance area that could be key for a breakout here in the coming days. I'll have all the details in today's video, including key levels to watch, potential targets, and also the latest on the DXY. Now, if you guys do want my help with your trading, including seeing my trades live, VIP-only videos, daily trade setups, live commentary, and also the full course, check out the link in the description of this video for 85% off lifetime access. If you're on the website, click on that Join VIP link. All right, guys, GBPUSD here, daily time frame. We had the ECB here today on Thursday. We also had CPI out of the US as well. So markets, a little bit of volatility here today so far. We saw the market, first move lower overnight, and then we did get that ECB press conference, and we saw the euro and the pound both rally on that press conference. So right now, the market is pressuring this area up here, this resistance area around 135.80 that we've discussed recently. You can see back here, this was a rejection point for the pound, but the fact that the market is once again returning to it does start to look a little bit more bullish for this market. And also the DXY is breaking below 97.70, which we'll talk about in a moment. Before the pound, guys, what we discussed recently is, first of all, obviously markets have been very, very sideways ever since the start of August. So you can see here that ever since the start of August back here, the market broke back within this range and has just been back and forth this entire time. It's also been incredibly choppy within this range. So it's been a clean range in terms of resistance up here and support down here. However, within this range, it's been very choppy, very back and forth. So pretty difficult to trade here for GBPUSD. However, I do think that, a breakout, a daily close above here, a sustained break above this would open up some higher areas, including poor highs like this one back here around 136.18. You've got this one up here. But the area that I'd be really interested in if we get that bullish breakout from this market is going to be this area around 137. So back here in July, so early July, we had the breakdown here and we saw a very shallow retrace into this area. Now in TPO terms, you've got single prints up here in this region. So just above 1.37, that could become a potential target / magnet for the GBPUSD here if we get the bullish breakout in September. But with that said, the last thing that you want to do is buy resistance, because right now, if you look at this here, even though GBPUSD is once again testing this level, it has not closed above. And furthermore, if it were to close above by 2 or 3 pips, guys, that is not going to cut it. We want to see something very convincing up here in this area and then get that retest of this level before we get that push higher. So it might not happen today. It doesn't look like it will, considering there's about an hour left in the session. Although, it could happen, but, chances are unlikely that that would happen here today on Thursday. So guys, this right now is still resistance for the pound. Bottom line there. The market is going to have to break out above this on the daily time frame to expose those higher levels, including those single prints up there around 1.37 here in September. All right, now looking at the DXY, we also have this market breaking down. And you can see where if we go to a weekly time frame, this really kind of encapsulates how difficult these markets have been to trade over the past few weeks, because notice all of these wicks back here. Notice how sideways this market has been here over the past few weeks. This is a weekly chart, guys. And so again, you have a range for these markets. However, the price action within that range has been pretty difficult. Now with that said though, we did see the DXY recently, earlier this week, try to reclaim 97.70. So again, this is just kind of a testament to how sideways and choppy these markets have been. You can see where the DXY was holding above 97.70 back here. It closed below, it closed slightly back above here on Tuesday, closed back above on Wednesday again. And then of course, today we're getting that rotation lower here for the DXY. So just very, very back and forth, guys. There's no real conviction right now in these markets. And that's made it really difficult for Forex traders, over the past few weeks. However, looking at the DXY, if we look at the monthly time frame, go all the way out here, this is that channel that we've discussed from 2011. So off of the 2011 low down here, you've got these lows and you've got these recent lows. So we know that there are unfinished auctions down here in this area. And what I mean by that is these are also called poor lows. So right back here off of these two lows in TPO terms, what that means is the market profile at this time, at the time the DXY was bottoming, it looked like sellers were not finished. That was the indication at the time. And these are still open for business. Meaning that markets love to retest areas like this and also see this diagonal line right here. That is the bottom of that 2011 channel. So it's very interesting that this does line up right there in that same area. So what I think we could see here from the DXY, given the weakness we're seeing on Thursday, if this continues through the end of the week, because keep in mind that the DXY has not closed below 97.70 on a weekly closing basis. So look at the weekly chart. Every single time the market has closed back above. So if this week does close below 97.70, what I think we could see is this area flip to new resistance, and then you've got this area of support down here in this area, okay, in this region. Now, notice how too, this lower wick from this candle back here really has not been filled in. Okay, we tend to see upper and lower wicks like this filled in. Look no further than what we've seen here over the past few weeks, right? Every single time we've gotten a partial refill. And then you look over here and you've got this lower wick down here that has not been, really even partially retraced. Okay, so there are a lot of factors pointing to the idea that we could see the DXY push lower into this region later this month. But again, I do think it's going to take a weekly close below 97.70 to open up that area. All right, so that's what I'm looking at for the DXY. Obviously, if the market does close back above 97.70 going into the weekly close, then we are looking at a range-bound market once again for next week, okay? But for now, it does look relatively weak here, and GBP USD, like I said, is once again pressuring resistance. This typically, guys, is a sign that we are going to get a bullish breakout. However, with that said, though, you still want to wait for the market to really break above here and give you that sustained break above before you start targeting some of these higher areas, including this region up here around 1.37. All right, so that's it for today's video, guys. I hope it helped. If it did, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Also, join us in VIP. See that link in the description for 85% off lifetime access. Trade well out there, and I will talk to you again tomorrow in the weekly forecast.